Coming up on Tech News Today, it's SysAdmin Appreciation Day. Find out why we all have a little SysAdmin in us. Also coming in November is the Black Pad. Find out what that means. And soon, we'll all be bathing in LTE.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT. Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Friday, July 30th, 2010. Tech News Today is brought to you by Gazelle, the easy way to sell or recycle the used gadgets lying around your home or office. For a 5% bonus payment for your used gadgets, go to gazelle.com, bonus code TNT. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
And I'm Sarah Lane.
Behind the board is our curmudgeonly producer, Erik Lanigan. Just pulled that one out of the chat room. There's nothing really curmudgeon.
I would not call Erik a curmudgeon.
No. This is the show where we talk technology and come up with new adjectives for Erik every day. And joining us is Randall Bennett from Justin TV. Hey, Randall.
Hey, how are you guys?
We're doing very well.
Randall.
Thank you for your employer streaming our stuff.
I know, it's pretty awesome, right? I'm actually on the site via TWiT for the first time ever, so good times.
Randall and I go way back. He used to work at CNET TV back in the day. I've been on his show when he was on TechV before, so I'm very excited to have you on the show today, Randall. And
Thanks,
I'm very excited also to wish you a happy SysAdmin Appreciation Day.
Thank you, Tom. It feels good to
It's just the best day.
be... Actually, our sysadmin is in Detroit.
Yes, Ken Shepardson, our SysAdmin. I feel like I've almost forgotten what he looks like.
I thought you were going to say I almost forgot about him. I'm sure you would have.
Nice.
Way to appreciate Ken.
Yeah.
When your Ethernet cable goes missing.
No, Burke is. I think Burke needs a little SysAdmin appreciation as
Absolutely.
well. He's been.
We appreciate you, Burke. You're the best.
Here's $1. Go buy yourself something.
Here's a smile.
In some ways, I feel like we're all sysadmins, right?
We are. Certainly here at the TWiT Cottage. We're not even kidding about that.
Well, I'm definitely my own sysadmin at home. Are you, Randall?
I mean, you open up the terminal every once in a while, do a little hackery, make sure that your computer's running smoothly. I mean, not to mention the parental sysadmin action that everyone has to perform, who's inevitably geeky. I don't know, family members, all that stuff. I feel like we all get a little pat on the back today.
So, yeah, definitely give big props to the big sysadmins at your place of work. They go unnoticed quite often, and you wouldn't have your YouTube break at 2 o'clock every afternoon without them, as well as the rest of the
Justin
internet.
TV has some of the greatest sysadmins in the world. They spend all the time making sure the site doesn't break. We have all this live video, so I definitely
Unlike
have
other
lots of
sysadmins.
yeah. Oh yeah. I mean,
Justin TV has pretty good ones.
so much better assistants than anywhere else. I mean, come on.
They make sure things don't break.
And then if you do your own sysadmin, give yourself a little pat on the back. We're all sysadmins. Ich bin ein Sysadmin.
Yes.
All right, that's enough of that. There's really no news today. Our first story is from yesterday. Google China. We talked to the Huffington Post had reported yesterday that Google China was blocked.
Yes.
We said we'd look into it. Well, apparently it wasn't blocked at all. Google has that page that tells you the status of whether things are blocked or unblocked, and it showed that things were blocked and they weren't. And we even got some emails from people in China who are like, I'm fine.
Things are
I was able
okay.
to download TNT and listen to it. Like everything, I'm searching Google like crazy.
Yeah.
Stock dropped a bit, though. Rumors, they can be powerful.
Rumors are powerful magic.
Yes.
So
The nice thing is, though, it got cleared up pretty quickly, though. It sounds just like a tool failure or some misreporting thing. I mean, I don't know. At least we don't have to go through an actual, Hong Kong Google getting blocked or whatever. So.
yeah. Also, a false alarm. Oh, I'm sorry. That's the same story. Also, a false alarm. Google not blocked in China is our second story. That's how bad the news is today.
False alarm. That's not our second story.
False alarm. There's no news.
We also have mentioned yesterday about blackpad.com being registered by RIM, and that possibly being the name of their new tablet that they would be coming out. Bloomberg has an article today saying, yes, RIM is going to come out with a tablet called BlackPad in November. It'll be a 9.7-inch diagonal screen, have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and will allow people to connect to the internet tethered through their BlackBerry smartphones.
I like everything about this except the name. I don't know what the consensus of BlackPad was yesterday, but
BlackPad.
It just sounds like, I don't know. A little pirate.
When we say BlackBerry Pearl, it's already like,
pirate-like.
the BlackBerry Pearl. Like,
I've got me BlackPad tethered to me BlackBerry Pearl. Arr.
I'm going to call it the Padberry.
Well, CrackPad.
Pirate Pad would rock.
Yes.
Can we revisit this?
The Pirate
We've got
Bay.
until November.
The Pirate Bay should put out the Pirate Pad.
Arr.
I kind of want to ask them, like, what do they, like, what gives you the right rib to think you're going to be good at this? I'm a little bit like, I mean, Palm, the Folio when it first came out, if that was a tablet, I think more people would have been a little bit happier about it since it was sort of like a netbook. It didn't really work. I kind of am reticent to give RIM the benefit of the doubt just because the storm didn't turn out that well. If it's a bigger storm, I'm not really that excited. Although,
this sounds like it's
more competition, right?
This sounds like it's going dead against the iPad, and I we haven't seen it yet, but it sounds pretty cool so far because it can tether with a BlackBerry phone. It would be nice if it could just tether with any phone over Bluetooth. Yeah. So maybe it will. Maybe that's just kind of marketing speak. These are all rumors. It's going to be the same price as the iPad, roughly. It's going to be the same size. We'll see what kind of app store situation they've got going on for it. But
that's sort of the problem, though. I think, like, if RIM really pushed the boundaries and really made some crazy, this happens to turn into a triangle and you can wear it as a hat and like do all this other innovative things, I'd be a little bit more excited. In this case, I'm a little bit more reticent to say, like, I definitely want to wait and see what RIM has up its sleeves just because, I mean, BlackBerry is the only thing they've done well. And to try a completely different form factor with, maybe reworking the OS, there's a lot of question marks in my head that persist past just the initial, like, spec. You guys have... The specs look good, right? But past that, I'm a little bit more concerned.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and we're remiss in not mentioning it'll have a front and back facing camera for video conferencing.
Woot!
So that'll probably be its big leg up for people.
Although Randall apparently isn't going to be happy unless it turns into a triangle. That's part of
honestly,
the specs that are missing.
The hat feature is crucial. The hat feature is crucial.
A tri-cornered hat. All right. Facebook says no to an IPO. The Palo Alto-based social network has no plans to go public until at least 2012, according to Bloomberg once again. Caroline McCarthy had a good write-up on CNET, said, are we surprised by this?
Yeah. I mean, the whole thing about this is like... Well, it was originally rumored to be this year, and then it was like, well, probably 2011. And now it's like, probably not 2011.
Yeah.
Maybe 2012.
There was a story last year about the company definitely not going public this year, and another report the previous year about Facebook definitely not going public last year. So I guess it's time for us to have the story about them. They're definitely not going public this year.
It's official. Nothing's happening.
Yes.
It's official.
But
we don't have anything to say.
If you're really waiting for Facebook to go public, there's all this secondary market stuff that's happening. So, I mean, Paul Boutin actually had a write-up in Wired a couple of days ago about despite Facebook not going public, there's still ways to buy the shares, and lots of people behind the scenes are trying to make all that stuff happen. I think Facebook is smart to not go public, to be honest. I mean, having worked at public companies before, that quarterly grind of, are you going to hit your numbers? Are you going to hit your numbers? It really permeates all parts of the company. So to focus more on growth and just nailing the core business, I mean, honestly, like, if you could run private forever, like, IKEA is an example of a really successful private company who doesn't have to worry about that quarterly beatdown from Wall Street. I mean, I don't know. Why even go public? I don't know. I'm on Facebook.
Well, Google's IPO is an example of why to go public, I guess.
Sure, and they have investors, and I know that there needs to be an exit and all these, like, actual reasons to go public, but my heart is like, man, stick it to Wall Street.
I don't know. A lot can happen in 2 years also.
Yeah.
Facebook is really big, and as far as winning the social networkers' hearts, it seems pretty stable. It's just growing and growing, but I remember, I hate to always make the MySpace comparison because they're obviously very different companies, but there was a time where MySpace looked too big to fail too.
Right.
And, it turns on a dime.
Oh, there were some conversations about, well, who's going to switch to Facebook when all their friends are on MySpace? And,
right.
And look what happened.
And it didn't take that long.
Generalissimo Facebook IPO is still dead. All right, let's move on to thank our sponsor, Gazelle. If you want the latest gadgets, you need to figure out what to do with the old gadgets, right? You're like, oh, you know what? I want the Droid 2, but I just bought the Droid X, and I still have that old Motorola Droid original hanging around, and the Droid Aris. Why did I buy all these phones? Well, here's what you can do with them. Go to Gazelle and tell them what gadgets you have, what condition they're in. Doesn't matter. I'm just using Droid as an example. Could be an MP3 player, ebook reader, GPS device, video games, whatever you've got. Over 200,000 unique items are listed that they can give you cash for. You don't have to wait for them to sell. It's not like eBay middlemen who put stuff up for you. Gazelle gives you cash, or if they can't give you any cash, they'll help you recycle them. They'll take it off your hands no matter what, and they make it easy. So go to Gazelle.com, enter the make and model of your used gadget, see how much they offer you for it. It's a marketplace, so if you want to check back from time to time, the price may go up, it may go down, but you probably just want to get rid of it. So if you accept their offer, you enter your mailing address, they'll send you a box. In most cases, they pay the postage. You send it to Gazelle, they send you a check, and or you can actually get it as an Amazon or Walmart gift card. In fact, you get a 5% bonus on the Amazon gift card. So check it out. Go to Gazelle.com, and for a 5% bonus, use the bonus code TNT. Don't just sell it, Gazelle it.
Nice.
I like.
Don't tell me what to do.
I'm
Just kidding.
sorry. Don't just sell it. You may also consider gazelling it, perhaps, Randall. I don't know.
Might I interest you in a Gazelle?
Gazelling it. The Porsche 918 Spyder hybrid supercar is going to go on sale, and it's going to be 400,000 pounds or more. This is a hybrid Porsche.
Love it.
This is a Porsche with not only an electric motor, but it can run solely on the electric motor at times and can go from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 32 seconds.
With a top speed of 198 miles per hour.
When's your Porsche going to go in hybrid mode? Because you know when you go in hybrid mode when you go from like 0 to 15, and then past 15, you're not in hybrid mode anymore. You're in gas mode. I mean, a supercar, like the best part about this for car enthusiasts, I think, is the torque, right? Because these electric motors have ridiculous amounts of torque. So off the line, you're going to notice a little bit of a boost, but still, like, man, I don't think eco-conscious people are buying this. I think supercar crazies are buying this for sure.
And it's funny because, yeah, to get the benefits of the supercar Porsche, you would have to be driving in a very non-fun way.
Yeah.
In traffic in the city.
You'll still get
stop signs.
I still think it'll improve your miles per gallon, but I don't think that most people buy a Porsche to improve their miles per gallon.
Exactly.
I would say that's not the number one reason.
However,
that's for sure.
They said they would have to get 1,000 people signing declarations of interest to buy one for them to start making it, and they nearly doubled that number. So
for sure.
What?
There's a couple thousand people interested.
Less than 2,000 people said share it? That doesn't surprise me.
At 400,000 pounds, that's like $700,000.
I've pre-ordered mine.
Yeah, I mean, I was just going to say,
there are 1,900 rich people
borrow
in the
some
world.
money from you.
Yes, yeah. Eric. My birthday's coming up.
And for those of you in the chat room who are sticklers about this thing, Porsche, 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 and then just take those and re-edit what we just said, and you can put it where we said Porsche every time.
Yeah,
it's just easier to say.
It's how they say it in Deutschland.
Da.
Porsche.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
Yeah, das Russia, where apparently it's very hot.
They might also say it that way in Russia. All right. The new Xbox 360 4 gigabytes packaging shows a list of all the various accessories you'll be able to buy when your new Xbox 360 4 gigabyte experience arrives. And Gadget got a leaked picture of the packaging, and one of the accessories they found when they put on their magnifying glasses and looked was a 250 gigabyte hard drive. Now, that has only been available when you bought the higher level Xbox 360 in the past. So it means that if this is not false advertising, you'd be able to buy that 250 gigabyte hard drive as an external accessory for your old Xbox 360.
Now, as a non-Xbox owner, is it not possible to have some sort of other external hard drive that you can just hook up to it?
Oh, you mean like through the USB ports or something? Not easily. It's possible, but
this would be.
This is you just pull off the old one, plug in the new one, or plug in the new one if it's an arcade model.
I got it.
Yeah, previously there was some iterations of hard drive upgrades. They were never 250 gigs though, so the real news here is it's a lot more space, so when you download games, you won't run out as often. I have a really old first gen, well, I mean, I've Red Ring of Death it like 3 or 4 times. So the first generation Xbox that's been fixed multiple times, yeah, I have that one. And it doesn't have that big of a hard drive, which is pretty frustrating, especially with all the downloadable content and things like that. So
it's perfect for somebody who's got an older model.
Exactly,
awesome.
yeah. I mean, the 250 gig hard drive is definitely a big plus for early adopting Xbox users who can still stick through all those hardware problems.
How much would you guess they'd charge for something like that, Randall?
I mean, so they should charge like $80, right? I'm guessing it's probably going to be like $150 just because of Xbox margins.
I say, I'm pretty close. I think it might be a little cheaper, like $129. I have no idea why.
It's definitely going to be plus 100 though, when it definitely shouldn't be. So,
all right. Meanwhile, you can get something for free in Tasmania if you pay attention and answer your mail. Australia is installing fiber to the home to 93% of the residents of the country of Australia. They're starting in Tasmania. They need a citizen's approval to come onto their property, dig the trench, and install the fiber. Apparently, only about half of the people they've contacted have given approval, and they have to finish up by August 31st. Or
not far away.
They don't get it installed, and if they want to get it installed later, they have to pay for it, and it's pretty pricey.
Okay,
this hurts my soul.
I understand this correctly. The government is saying, please, just say yes so that we can give you free access to everything online.
Yes.
And Tasmanian residents are going, I might want to just not do this and pay for it later.
Government man says, hey, this is free installation, fiber hookup, no effect on your existing phone or cable service. You're committed to nothing. You don't even have to buy it later on. Can we just install this for free?
Maybe
no way, mate.
Maybe Australia.
Get off my property.
That sounded like more like
dingo. Maybe they can figure out, Australia should figure out an opt-out situation.
Well, yeah, they actually
We're going to dig and give you free internet access.
You say no,
unless you explicitly say no, because they're not going, what, do they have a month?
Yeah.
Well,
they have a month to get the approvals. They can still dig the trenches later. They just have to get, the deadline for the consent forms is August 31st. And they are considering doing just that, Sarah. It's just that they have to change the laws of Australia, so that's a much longer process, and it'll delay the whole thing.
Well,
as someone who specifically moved to an area so that I could have fiber optic internet, like, this actually makes me angry. Like, I'm actually mad at these people. Like, wake up! This is the best thing for your internet ever. What are you thinking?
Aussie.
I don't know. I'd love to know what they're thinking.
Install.
Clearly, they're not that interested.
Also in the news today, Redbox rolls out Blu-ray rentals. This is the first time that they've been able to offer Blu-ray at some of their 23,000 kiosks. There's one over at the 7-Eleven nearby. We should go check and see when they get Blu-ray.
Let's just wait there.
No other details. What are you guys doing? Loitering? No.
You guys have Blu-ray yet?
Checking it, waiting for the Redbox guy.
Blu-ray?
Bring the Blu-ray.
Yeah.
Blu-ray?
No? Well, we're staying. First in line.
New Blu-ray page is displayed on the company's site, so you wouldn't have to go wait there, actually. You could just check it out. Also has a search box where you can put in your zip code to see if the Blu-ray films are available in your area. So that's what the 7-Eleven guy will say. He's like, get out of here and go check the website.
So Redbox, there was a time where I thought, oh, this won't last.
Yeah.
It's just this silly thing in front of grocery stores.
It just seems like
at 7-Eleven.
like Coinstar.
Yeah. But people are really using it, and now you got Blu-ray. I don't know. I don't really have anything to tease it about.
Yeah,
I don't think Redbox is. I think Redbox is onto something in that, like, taking the traditional rental model that people like and making it as efficient as possible. This is literally the limit of efficiency for DVD rentals. So, I mean, other than Netflix, right? But Netflix is sort of a different model, and et cetera. Really, to me, this is more about, is Blu-ray something consumers want? And I still am unclear on whether that's the case. I think they want it more than they want 3D TV, which is a whole separate thing. But if people want this Blu-ray, maybe Redbox is sort of the blockbuster of this era. Maybe it can help get into more people's homes because they could say, oh, it's just $1. I'll go pick up a Redbox movie, whatever. My thing more is, though, Blu-ray seems to be competing with, obviously, on-demand streaming. And as on-demand streaming looks better and better, I'm definitely not going to get a Blu-ray player. I mean, I might get a PS3 that happens to have a Blu-ray player, but I'd rather just stream HD over the web. I mean, that's really, to me, the place to go.
Finally, the U.S. copyright group, you may know them as the people who are pursuing the Hurt Locker lawsuits against people accused of pirating the Hurt Locker. Apparently, they got caught with their hand in the cookie jar. This story, it comes from Slashdot via torrentfreak.com, and they created a website that was for people to respond to if they have been accused of this sort of pirating. And someone uncovered that this website seemed to have a competitor's phone number and copyright statement from a similar group that does similar sorts of things.
That one's smart.
They contacted the competitor and found out, yeah, we had ours up first. It looks like the U.S. copyright group just copied their website without permission and put it up as their own.
Now, why does it look that way? What are the details that they can use to back up this claim?
Well, the picture, the layout.
Oh, that.
The copyright notice from the original site and the phone number of the competitor.
This wouldn't happen to be some sort of template that they both could have bought and just independent of each other and maybe just change the name up in the upper right-hand corner.
Sure, that picture could easily be some kind of
because it looks a little like a template-y type of a thing that maybe you just buy and customize it a little bit.
That would be the footer, right, though? Like the footer copyright notice, that's the real, like...
The phone number and copyright statement that states the other competitor's name, that's kind of the smoking gun here. And that competitor is reportedly going to send a cease and desist order. So,
huzzah.
Copywriters have turned on each other.
Ah, the snake that eats itself.
Fudge!
Yes, thank you. On to the lightning round. Kick us off, Sarah Lane, with little Kindle news.
The Kindle app gets an update, including a 250,000-word dictionary, in-book search, Google and Wikipedia lookups, and for iOS 4 users, fast app switching.
Simon & Schuster Digital began selling an enhanced ebook of Rick Perlstein's best-selling doorstop Nixonland. That doorstop comes from the paid content article, not from me. I love Nixonland. This is happening on yesterday, Thursday. Among the 27 videos inserted into the text of the iBookstore's enhanced ebook, there's an original interview with the author conducted by CBS News Face the Nation anchor Bob Schieffer.
Rain or snow or neither one. Now you can see weather in Google Earth. The latest version projects images of rain and snow over the areas with those weather patterns as they're actually happening.
And Microsoft announced an out-of-cycle patch to fix the recently disclosed vulnerability that takes advantage of the way shortcuts are used. We talked about that with Darren Kitchen earlier. The patch will be released this coming Monday at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific.
According to Ars Technica, the Federal Communications Commission has finally approved the first 4G long-term evolution, or LTE phone, for sale in the U.S. Woohoo! Through the first LTE handset will be available through Metro PCS. The FCC has now opened the door for other LTE devices, including those for Verizon's in-testing LTE network.
By the end of this year, it will be awash in LTE.
Just bathing in it.
Yeah. It'll be good for your skin. All right.
Eat LTE for breakfast.
Today may be light on news, but this
not on charm.
That's right.
That's right.
And also, the future is not light on events. What's happening on the calendar?
Well, Tom, I'm glad you asked because it's a pretty full one. The end of July is there's a lot to talk about. Internet Explorer 9 beta to arrive just a couple months away in September. That's fun. Samsung confirms Galaxy S will get Froyo in September as well.
Good news for the Galaxy S users.
Froyo, more news from them. Also coming to Evo 4G on Tuesday. Sprint confirms.
Yeah, not a rumor now. That's
This
confirmed.
is a confirmed report.
It'll start rolling out on Tuesday.
There's going to be a little Plants vs. Zombies announcement on Monday.
Very excited about that.
If you like that sort of thing.
Eagerly awaiting.
Yes. The iPhone 4 launched in several countries yesterday, but not without problems. In fact, in New Zealand, the iPhone 4 was a launch full of confusion.
We got a few people emailed us from New Zealand saying that they were told to go home. They lined up all night long, and the store opened, and they said, we have no iPhones.
People love that.
We don't know when we're getting them. Just go home. By late morning, Vodafone was telling customers that the iPhone would be available in some of its stores in the afternoon, and the units would be sold only to customers signing long-term contracts. They were sold out of their inventory by 4 p.m. And now Apple's website in New Zealand says that it'll be a 3-week shipping time if you want to order it. So not a very smooth launch in New Zealand. The launch,
I'd be confused too.
Yeah, the launch was also in Australia, Austria, Belgium, Canada, Denmark, Hong Kong, Ireland, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Singapore, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, and in Finland, who we got a little check-in on how it went there from a caller.
Hello, TNT crew. This is Alan calling from Helsinki, Finland. Well, the iPhone 4 may supposedly be available today, but I was there with 40 other people, and I didn't get one. I will get mine in the mail in 2 or 3 days. So just checking in. Love the show. Take care.
Well, that's better than the 3 weeks the New Zealanders are getting, I guess.
2 or 3 days, definitely not the end of the world, but disappointing all the same.
Absolutely.
Yeah, if you think this is the day, then you're going to be disappointed.
All the waiting in line, all that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. If you go through the trouble, you want your reward.
Now, you can call us with a voicemail, 260-TNT-SHOW. Keep it, relatively around 30 seconds, and we'll listen to it. We play a selection of them based on the news of the day as they complement things. You can also email us a video voicemail so we can actually see your face. You can send that to TNT@twit.tv like Paul did. Paul happens to be a SysAdmin on SysAdmin Appreciation Day.
Oh, Paul.
Hi TNT crew, this is Paul, the British SysAdmin in Hawaii. This is in following up to episode number 42 and talking about the FBI requesting ISPs to provide them with website addresses, email addresses people are sending emails to and everything like that, and trying to get the legislation pushed through for it. This strikes me as just a futile exercise, almost complete waste of time. It's incredibly trivial to set up something like an SSL proxy server which will encrypt all your web traffic on the outbound, which would stop an ISP from being able to find out what websites you're actually accessing. Same thing goes for email. It's really, really simple to set up your own email server. You can do it in about 5 minutes on an average machine. And again, that would stop the ISPs from having access to the email addresses you're sending emails to. So it strikes me that all the FBI are going to do is really catch the clueless criminals, the people that probably aren't that much of a security concern anyway. The ones that you really want to catch, they're going to have all this stuff set up. So that you're just not going to get that information from them. Anyway, love the show. I just want to say happy SysAdmin Day to my fellow SysAdmins out there.
And also to you, Paul.
Happy SysAdmin Day,
Happy
Paul.
SysAdmin Day. I hope somebody's treating you nice.
So what do you think of his point here?
I think it's a good one.
These sorts of the bad guys can easily protect themselves from the spying.
There's a couple pieces to this, though, right? Like, for sure, anyone who's using their ISP for a nefarious email definitely is not using their brain. He says it's trivially simple to set up an SSL proxy to surf through. I don't think trivially easy is a word most non-sysadmins would use. Mm-hmm. But sure, I get the point where he's going. I do think that for criminals, though, who aren't as savvy, there are criminals out there, believe it or not, who are not computer savvy. So they definitely could catch some people who are doing bad things, maybe drug trafficking or whatever. Sure, they're eventually going to get on, wise to this, and just like they're wise to wiretapping, and it shows up in so many movies to use the code words and don't be direct. I mean, they'll get wise to it eventually, but for now, it's at least a helpful move. I guess you could say somewhat helpful.
Yeah, I think Paul's right though. Like, these are the kinds of things that sadly more often nab the good guys than the bad guys.
Sure,
but I also think it's a little bit overhyped in the reaction. Most people aren't going to be affected by it either.
Right.
Sure.
On to the emails, TNT@twit.tv. Chris wrote in and said, hey, TNT crew, regarding zombie cookies, as you might have guessed, Steve Gibson has covered this issue before, albeit under the slightly different name of super cookies. Can't recall the episode that was on, though. To get some protection from these Flash-based cookies and to auto-delete them, check out the Firefox add-on Better Privacy at addons.mozilla.org/en-us/firefox/addon/6623, or just go to our wiki from twit.tv/TNT.
Well, I'm sure they all remember that.
Or just search Better Privacy Firefox add-on. That's probably the easiest way.
It's a good one. I'm not using Firefox regularly. But
well, if you want to be
I still have got it though.
clear of the cookies, maybe you should.
I still try to keep up on the Firefox add-ons because it's
I bet there's a
still
Chrome
the best
plugin for it too.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
All right, next email. This one is from Dan B. Tom, he says, in exclamation point. Perfect example for social searching. 2 days ago, I was looking for a dentist, which is a daunting and scary task at best. Yes, we understand, Dan. I did a local Google search, and I got your 1-800-DENTIST links, kind of average stuff. SEO links, and sure, a few This Guy Rocks links from Yelp. I just wasn't sure I wanted to risk paid-for listings and self-rated postings. So I posted a simple question on Facebook. Does anyone know of an excellent dentist in Carlsbad or nearby? Within an hour or two, I had 3 excellent choices lined up from people I know or friends of people I know. It just works.
Also, Miranda Janelle says it was episode 199 for that add-on, for that Security Now.
Oh, cool.
If Miranda is right, then you can check that out. I think Dan's got a good point here. Is that there is some good Q&A, but here's the thing. I think Dan also proved my point. Is you didn't need a special feature that made your question public to everyone else.
Agree.
You just asked on your wall or on your status to your group of friends and got a good answer. It's the throwing it open to the rest of Facebook and forcing it to be public that I don't think necessarily adds the value.
Well, it's also what he didn't want. I mean, the whole point of this was that he didn't want recommendations from people that he didn't know. He also says, hey, I got a few This Guy Rock stuff from Yelp, but I wasn't interested in paid-for listings and self-rated postings. I find Yelp to be very helpful, and I find the paid-for stuff to be pretty easy to decipher.
Yeah.
You know, no, I don't know all those people on Yelp, but I don't know. I don't think it's like everything that gets a big thumbs up, people have ulterior motives necessarily.
Sure. I mean, there's a spectrum, right? There's people who you know on Facebook who you definitely trust. There's Yelp, who's sort of these like, I mean, Amazon's in the same way, right? You look at the Amazon listings to see if there's themes and things like that.
Right.
I think the coolest part of this is, you know, this specific story makes me feel like I live in the future, right? Like 10 years ago, you were like, oh, I want to find a dentist, and you just have to sort of randomly ask people. But you're like, hey, I want to find a dentist, and your cousin who you never talked to, or your third grade friend, or, you know, people who just live in the same neighborhood as you are like, hey, so try this guy. You know, that's really, I mean, it's just the power of, I don't know, social networking. I think a lot of times we get lost in, you know, just how cool that actually is, that service works. Whether it's a separate, you know, questions thing or just posting on your wall, that's social networking. Like, I don't know, it just makes me feel like I'm, I don't know, cyber amazing, blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
And you are, Randall.
You sound like Steve Ballmer.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not making any sense. That's rude. Sarah.
No, the blah, 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 Tom.
Right,
Didn't you read the transcript?
That's right. I read it. Yeah,
Randall makes more sense
We
than
talked
Steve
about
Ballmer
some of the
these
more
days.
sensible Steve Ballmer quotes yesterday on Tech News Today, but there was some ravings in there. Like, blah, blah, blah is a quote.
I was channeling that. Channeling my inner Steve Ballmer. Developers.
Steve Ballmer says blah, 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 blah as one of his things.
So do a lot of
Well, so do a lot of people.
I just did. Yeah, exactly.
So, some of it, though, I just, you know, I read the transcript and I thought, it sounds like a speech that wasn't prepared. You know, it just seemed like he was trying to get around saying anything. They didn't really know what he was
I thought maybe it was the Google Voice speech recognition that transcribed it the way it read, because it didn't make any damn sense.
There's no way he actually said that.
Go to the market and pick up some laundry. Why would Steve Ballmer say this?
All right. Our last email comes from Ben, who says, hey, guys, just wanted to share my experience with iOS 4 on 3G, the iPhone 3G. The other day, I saw a tip that suggested disabling Spotlight. This method worked for me, as I find that I rarely use Spotlight. Here's how you do it. In Settings, go to General, Home button, Spotlight Search, where you can uncheck anything that you don't want indexed. The more, the merrier. I have everything unchecked, and the phone is usable on iOS 4. So there we go. I don't think that's an acceptable solution for Apple, but if you're a user of 3G and you want to use iOS 4, that might work for you as a workaround temporarily.
I need to start using my Spotlight more. I use it in OS 10 all the time.
Yeah.
I mean, constantly. That's how I launch everything.
Right.
On my phone, I really don't. I don't know. I haven't gotten into the rhythm yet.
I only use it when I can't find an item because it's buried in a folder or on a different screen.
I know, isn't it funny? Now that we got these folders that we all wanted, now we can't find anything.
Right.
It's like,
where
what
did I
folder
put all
I
my
put it in?
photography apps?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Why did I name it Turtles instead of photography apps? It's odd.
Bad call. Bad call.
All right, Randall Bennett, thank you so much for being on TNT today. Let people know a little bit more about where they can find you on the internet.
So I'm at Randall B on Twitter. I'm at Justin TV. I help people do cool broadcasts like this. So if you want to create live content, get a hold of me on Twitter, or you can email me, randall@justin.tv. So.
All right, and we will be back again Monday with another Tech News Today. Until then, if you miss us, you can rewatch all the episodes. You can find them at twit.tv/TNT, or you can just call and talk to us, 260-TNT Show, or write us. You can write us, TNT@twit.tv. We'll be sitting here all weekend waiting So write us.
See ya.